Hey Team Chic, I wanted to talk to you about something that is super essential to your business, and that is following up. So many people neglect to do this on a regular basis, and they're missing out because the fortune is truly in the follow-up. So I want to read some statistics to you about following up. Listen to this. 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. That's almost 50% of people. They just never follow up. They just assume if they didn't reply back with enthusiasm that it was a no-go. 25% of salespeople make a second contact and stop. 12% of salespeople only make 3 contacts and stop. And then only 10% of salespeople make more than 3 contacts. So what I'm trying to get you guys to do is be in that 10% and start following up like a friggin' boss. So listen to these sales statistics. 2% of sales are made on the first contact. So that's a pretty low number. 3% of sales are made on the second contact. 5% of sales are made on the third contact. 10% of sales are made on the fourth contact, and 80% are made on the 5th to 12th contact. 80%, you guys. That is why it is crucial that you are following up and that you are, just really connecting with them again and again and again, because it's all about planting seeds. That's really what this business is about. I say it all the time. And so you've got to follow up like a boss. Make a list. Make a list of your contacts, the people you've been talking with about your, Shakeology, about a fitness challenge group, about a challenge pack. Anyone that has said they were interested in a promo post you did about a boot camp. Any of those things. Make a list and follow up with them. Follow up with them the next month or 2 months later, whatever it is. Follow up with anyone that said they've been interested in coaching. And some of you have said no to me several times and then eventually came around like a year later. So remember that, it's all about timing. And some people just the timing isn't right. That doesn't mean it's a no. It means it's a no for now. I have had so many people come around later because I followed up with them. I checked in with them and I was consistent. So following up is huge to success. And so don't, for me, I want to go for no. Like I don't like it when people ignore me. That drives me bonkers. I'd rather have someone give me a flat out no than ignore me. So I'm going to share my 5-step follow-up process that I use for when people are maybe ignoring me. Now, keep in mind, most people don't ignore you intentionally, like especially when you're I'm talking about when you're messaging them on Facebook or email. A lot of people just get busy. They get a lot of messages, or they read your message and forget to reply because they got interrupted by maybe a kid or whatever. Maybe they read it, maybe they were in their car at the time when they read it and they couldn't respond. You never know why people don't respond. And so it's really important that you just check in with them and see what they, if they got your response and kind of, and just follow up with them. So that's why it's hugely important. I know for me, there have been times when I've read a message and I was just getting my kids in the car and I didn't have time to respond, or I thought I responded in my head, but I didn't, right? That happens too. So it's really important that you follow up, especially when people ignore you, because don't take it personally, you guys. People just get busy. So here's some of the ways that I follow up. Here's my 5-step follow-up process. Number 1, sometimes it's just as simple as responding with 3 question marks. And here, I want to teach you this trick that every time I talk to someone on Facebook or email, I end the conversation with do you think that would help you? Or Do you want me to send you my link? Or how do you feel about that? Or do you think, anything that's going to get them to respond? Because if you don't end on a question, they'll just think they don't have to reply. Does that make sense? So all of the messages that I'm sending people when I'm talking to them about a challenge group end with a question. Now, when they don't respond to that question, here's when I start doing the 5-step follow-up. Here's when I say, okay, they didn't respond to that question. Now I'm going to respond with 3 question marks. And sometimes they're like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I totally got busy or whatever. And then they'll respond. Again, I'm not afraid to get a no. I'd rather get a no than an ignore. Because remember that no is just a no for now. And they're going to, like it said, 80% of sales come from that 5th to 12th contact. So another way to follow up is number 2, ask a question. If they're still ignoring you, I don't like people ignore me. If they ignore this, I'll follow up with this and say, hey, did you get my last message? Or, hey, what are you thinking? Or, hey, what did you decide? Or what did your husband say? Or, hey, did you place your order yet? Anything that just kind of gets them to respond and give you a definite answer is a good question to ask. So I'll ask a question. If they continue to ignore me, I will comment on a photo to kind of be like, hey, I'm here. And then you can ask. Some people don't have the Messenger app on Facebook. So sometimes they don't even get their messages in Facebook. So again, don't take it personally. I have messaged people on their Facebook wall when they've ignored me here in the personal messages and said, hey, have you been getting my messages? And they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I haven't. And then they'll respond to me. So once I do that, typically I get a response when I ask them on their Facebook wall if they've been getting my messages. And then following up every month or so and saying, I call it a still stuck question, because typically they came to you because they were stuck, or they replied to maybe a promo post you did because they were in they wanted to lose they wanted to lose weight, or they wanted to feel better, or they wanted to get toned. Whatever their goals were, you need to see if they still have those same goals, if they're still struggling. Just ask them a question that's like, hey, are you still looking to lose 5 pounds? Hey, are you, and that's why it's important that that you're finding out their struggles in the first place. And this is all part of, what we teach you to do in your initial contact is, of course, say, hey, what are you struggling with? And that way, as you're following up, and as you check in with them every week or month or whatever, you can say, hey, are you still looking to lose 5 pounds? You can just kind of remind them of that pain point or that struggle and still see if they need help with that area. So this is kind of my 5-step follow-up. And another tip is to never say, let me know, okay? Because let me know is the perfect way to say, you don't ever have to reply to me. Let me know in a year from now. Let me know when you're 10 years older. You know what I mean? It is, I feel like let me know is the perfect way to let the conversation die. So never, I used to say this a lot when I was a new coach, but I never say that now because it kills the conversation. Always end with a question. And if they do say, you know what, not right now, the timing's bad, or not right now, it's just not in our budget, then I will tell them that I'll be back. I say, I don't just say, okay, and take it personally and be all sad. I just say, all right, cool, I'll check in with you next month and see if the timing's better. Or, okay, cool, I'll check in with you next month and see if that's a better, if that's a better time for your budget. So those things really, really help. And if all else fails, I'll say, I'd love to get to know you better. Can I add you to my I call it my Chic Confidence Club, but it's basically my Forever Free group. So you can call it whatever you want, but you can, and you could even say for my Forever Free group, or my group where I do monthly free challenges. And that's where I put them in there so that I am still contacting them. They're still getting that connection with me, and I'm still building a relationship. So I feel like I'm never really ending the relationship, if that makes sense. So that's how I continue to follow up, connect with them, and make those 5 to 12 connections that convert to sales. And you know, it's not all about sales, it's about helping people, but sometimes the timing is just not right for them. So so I want you guys to really, you know, one thing we do on Team Chic is we do follow-up Fridays. So make a point to every Friday follow up with people you've been talking to that week or that month, or go through your list. You know, keep a notebook, a spiral notebook. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, or just make a list on your phone of who you've been talking to, and then follow up with those people. Like I have a list of like January contacts, and then I will follow up with them in February and see if the timing's better. Follow up with them in March. You know, I don't ever stop following up with people, because unless they tell you, please stop contacting me, most people generally want your help. It's just not the right timing. It's a no for now. So I hope this helps you guys. Just never forget that the fortune is the follow-up, and you're not being annoying, because most of these people that you're talking to are people that have showed interest at one point. So make sure you're following up like a boss. And thanks for watching, you guys. Bye.